Shout out to everybody. Salute. So, in this whole Taxstone Shorty Ave case, like I've been telling y'all, I told y'all this from my first channel, my second channel, even my third channel, that you'll start seeing that a lot of people was involved in this case. And you start seeing now that in the wiretaps that they bringing into play is that Casanova and a lot of other dudes that even when I put the video out with old girl on my second channel, with her basically saying that Taxstone is the trigger man. Now you hearing Casanova confirm that Taxstone was the trigger man. And the messed up part is a lot of these things, like I told everybody in the beginning, all this came back to bite a lot of these dudes. And they've been investigating them because they have so much wiretaps on these dudes that they've been investigating them. And this is what I've been saying since my first channel in 2019 when I touched on the Taxstone, Troy Ave, Casanova, and all these dudes, and I told people that everybody want to point the fingers at Troy like he was the aggressor and he came there to do harm to anybody. He came there to do his business. He came there to perform and then leave. You know, he saw somebody that basically was talking slick about him, and you know, the dude was so much of a coward that he ran to get the firearm. Everybody saying, "Oh, Troy Ave this, Troy Ave that," but nobody goes back and look that Taxstone said on out of his own mouth that if a dude confronts him, he's gonna do bang 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 bang. Right? He writes a letter on Troy Ave. Right when Troy Ave was incarcerated on Rikers Island, he writes a letter to tell the judge don't release him. Right? Trav was able to get bail. He put property up. He was able to get bail and get on the street. People say, "Oh, he told," which the man never did. He never told, right? What people don't understand is, right? Everybody, everybody's attacking Troy Ave. Troy Ave doesn't owe any loyalty to Taxstone or none of these dudes. He lost his friend, you know what I'm saying, and he almost could have lost his life that night. You know what I'm saying? He did a heroic, thing. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a self-defense situation. Because this dude could have killed everybody in there. Could have killed everybody. He killed Banger, and then he could have killed Av. He could have killed um, Shorty. You know, Maddie. He could have killed anybody. You know, in that room because he was. And then when Av took the firearm from him, and you know, on some real hero shit, he took it heroic. That was some heroic shit. He took it from him. Everybody want to paint the picture on Av, point fingers at him, and that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? As you can see in this case, this man prolonged this case. He didn't want to go to trial because he knew they had overwhelming evidence on him that he was the aggressor. If you got a podcast and you've been stalking this man and been lying on this man and been dissing this man, you know, the truth gonna come out that you were the bully, that you were the aggressor. You know what I'm saying? His own mans is the one that's telling on him. His own mans is the one that's saying, "I gave Tax the gun, this and that," and he's the one that's saying Tax is the aggressor. So if everybody is saying this is like he's not innocent. He went in there with the intentions to do harm. He went in intentions. Casanova brought him in that building. And you hearing in the wiretaps, Casanova was the one that basically sealed the deal. So when it's people that come online and say this, listen, it's so much out here that really exposed these dudes. Like, there's a video with Cass is telling Uncle Murder why you ain't help Tax. Right? It's so much that basically puts him in deep doo-doo, you know, because dude based his career off of hating off of everybody, but basically majority hating on Troy Ave. That's what he based his career off of. And then beefing with Ebro, beefing with this one and beefing with Cam, dissing Tupac. He also dissed Meek, right? So he was his career was based off of beefing, dissing everybody on his platform. He never once gave nobody flowers. He just was dissing and beefing. When he met Meek, he stopped dissing him. Then he was like, "Oh, yo, I never been in a race before," right? He was fanned out. He was nothing but a fan. Okay, he was a guy that didn't deserve a platform. He got it because of, like Funk Flex said, the intimidation tactics, the tactics of I can protect you, and I'm this, and I know who did this to you, and just put me on. And that's what happened. He got put on by Combat Jack and Charlamagne the God with Loudspeaker Network podcast, right? He gets over there, he gets his own podcast. Like Nori said, man, you know, everybody can't do podcasting, which was right. You know, dude keeps saying, "Oh yeah, yo, Nori's a legend. Nori, anything Nori does is gonna be legendary, right?" So they gave the dude the podcast. He got his podcast, but what did he do in the culture that's so legendary? Nothing. All he did was cause division, strife, and basically a man lost his life because of a dude being a coward in Taxstone. He was a coward. He was a coward. He took Banger's life and tried to take Troy Ave's life because he was a coward that taunted this man, that stalked this man, that was bullying this man. This man was basically encouraging violence to happen to a lot of black men. Um, he, called. I remember he called Doggy Diamonds police. He said if Chicago rappers come to New York, they need to get robbed. If Trinidad James come to New York, he needs to get robbed. There was a lot of things that this man said on his podcast about certain people. He called Tupac a snitch. He called Cameron a snitch. He basically was just going at people and saying things and to get a reaction. He was a cancer. He was a cancer. He was a cancer to the culture. And that's what he was. And just like when, No Jumper, Adam 22 asked Math, is Tax a legend? And he told him what it was. He's not a legend. There's nothing legendary about Taxstone. It's just he was a guy that got lucky. He got lucky and his luckiness put him in the situation. But other than that, there's nothing legendary about him. Just being honest. So, salute.